I got this opportunity to, TikTok is just a crazy thing. Like I said, I got to get the hell off of there as far as like watching comments, but man, I had one of my videos blow up. I just put some videos out there of my cabin, and one of them just exploded, and a ton of questions, ton of comments, all that stuff. And that's great, if it gets the word out. And it got people ordering my book. I looked online, and people are going to my website and buying books, and bought me out of stickers. I had 500 stickers. Those are all gone. So you guys are going to have to wait a little bit for, for more of those. But so I suppose that's good. But anyway, also via TikTok, I saw this guy called Chris Otto. He's a policeman in Virginia Beach, Virginia. Interesting dude. His message is awesome. What he is basically David Goggins. Like his temperament, the way that he, expresses himself, the way that he motivates you, which is what he's trying to do. He's a motivator. He's like me, but his angle is very like get your shit together, like Goggins. Anyway, really like the guy's stuff, so I followed him over on Instagram, and I've been watching his crap, and I asked him to be on the show. So I got an opportunity to talk to this guy. He was everything I hoped he would be, and here's my conversation with him. His name's Chris Otto. I'll put up all of his connections on social media so you guys can follow him. But if you like my stuff, you're going to like his stuff too. So follow him. Check it out. Here he is, Chris Otto. That's awesome.
Pretty busy day. Hit the gym earlier. Had some court before that for my job, and just been trying to stay busy with as many tasks as I possibly can. I don't like being stagnant.
Yeah, I don't like it either. So for your job, are you law enforcement?
Yeah, I'm a cop.
Good for you, man. What level are you? I was a volunteer sheriff's deputy for a while, county level.
Okay, Master Police Officer. So I've been doing that for about city of Virginia Beach. I've been doing that for about going on 8 years now.
Oh, that's cool. What did you do before that? Because you're 8 years. That doesn't put you back to 18.
Yeah, no, not at all, man. I've done quite a bit. I've done sales, personal training. Had my own business for personal training. Did some in-home personal training, and then tried to open up my own location, which I think I tried to go too big too fast with that. But that's a story in of itself.
Yeah.
Sold cars. Worked for a company called Pitney Bowes. I've done quite a bit.
I know who they are.
Worked all that stuff.
Yeah,
Gave me great
cool.
people skills though. A lot of experience dealing with people, working with people. So goes hand in hand with the law enforcement career too.
Yeah, I get it, man. I don't know what you said, Master Police Officer, but I don't know if that puts you on the street or what you're doing. But you're always going to be dealing with the public, and having those skills, having those soft skills, they're just huge.
Yeah. I'm on patrol. I'm on the street.
Cool.
I enjoy it sometimes.
Well, if it were easy all the time, nobody'd pay to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to
be a hobby.
Downs, but
so you got into, man. I got to tell you, I started seeing your stuff on TikTok, and then I went over to Instagram, and you have an excellent presentation. The stuff that you're saying, with me, you're preaching to the choir, but there just aren't a lot of people. There aren't a lot of men out there who are pushing to help improve other men, and more than that, to have the angle of the masculinity that you do. It isn't. I don't know. You just don't have that softness that everybody seems to want to value anymore. And that's where I come out is on that. Hey, man, part of masculinity is it's got a rougher edge around it sometimes. That's just how the world works, I think. And my guess is that in your line of work, you're going to see some of that. So I'm really beating around the bush. What got you wanting to do this? What got you, what inspires you to put the videos out there? How do you do your thinking? How do you do your research? What's the end goal that you're looking for? Because you're great at it, dude. I learned shit from watching you.
I appreciate that, man. That means a lot. From what you said right there, man, is one of the reasons that I do what I do, is because if I can touch somebody's life with some of the experiences that I've gone through, from what I've learned, if I can touch one person's life with that, I feel like I've done my job. I think it pretty much all started when when I was dating this girl about 3 years ago, I would say. Well,
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, going on 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Was drinking a lot. She had some red flags that I didn't see as red flags. And I was letting myself go in a direction that was not indicative of who I knew I truly was deep down inside. And I think when people do that, they start chasing other things such as pleasures, things to
Ooh,
escape. And I
just
was
gonna
doing
say
that
that.
without. I was doing that with alcohol, and got me into a little bit of trouble. Had an incident with her. I got arrested, and it was dropped from court and all of that. I was able to keep my job.
Yeah, just gonna ask about
But
that part.
yeah, I mean, when this incident happened, it was like the day after a switch flipped in my head, and I was like, something's got to give here, because I've been going my whole life starting, stopping, starting, stopping, starting, stopping things. And I got sick and tired of it. So I made the decision right then and there that no more. And with that, I started reading every single day, which
Mm-hmm.
I still do. I started meditating. And this was just, I started developing these small disciplines and just being able to stack those disciplines on top of one another. I've always worked out on a consistent basis.
Me too, man.
Well,
It's
I can't
never
say,
left my life.
yeah, when I turned about 25, 26 is when I pretty much got into it, like, a daily thing.
Mm-hmm.
But stacking these small disciplines every morning, non-negotiable, I make my bed. And it's these little things that started to flip this switch, flip this switch, flip this switch. And then just getting into the gym and challenging myself to the point where it almost shocked my system. And then I came across Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me.
Oh, loved
And
it,
I
man.
think that,
Read it cover to cover twice. Loved it.
yep. And I think that book came at a time in my life. It was pretty much after this whole incident happened with this ex-girlfriend of mine. That book came at a time in my life where it was the best time that it could have ever came into my life. Like, you know how they say when the student's ready, or when the student's ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
So, and then I started reading this book, and I'm like, what am I leaving on the table here? I'm capable of so much more. So I started ingraining that into myself, and I started working out in a way where most people would probably think I'm absolutely insane. Started running 10, 15, 20 miles at a time, nothing compared to, these ultra runners or anything like that. But for
Yeah.
me, that was a lot. And what that did for me is that allowed me to put myself through some voluntary suffering, because I never really suffered a lot in my life. My parents, good family. I didn't grow up poor or anything like that. So I never really suffered, so to speak.
Right.
So going through that, and challenging myself and going through all this suffering, it kind of opened up something in my head, in my brain, where I was able to realize what I was truly capable of. And that's where I believe I started finding true happiness within myself.
Yeah,
Nothing else.
I'm sure you've heard of Cam Haynes, and he talks about that. That if you suffer early in the day, nothing else really seems that bad, and it's true. And everything you're telling me, dude, like Goggins is your guy. You're just like him, like the way that you talk and the way that you see the world. Yeah, that book would speak right to your soul, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that guy, he's nuts, man. He just never stops. I think he's still a smoke jumper, isn't he?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't put it past him that he isn't. I mean, he
Yeah,
probably is.
yeah, yeah. I've talked to him a couple of times via social media. I don't know him or anything. He certainly wouldn't know me, but he always answers the same way: "Stay hard." Like he'll
Yeah.
be like, "Yes, stay hard."
Yeah.
He's
Yeah. And that's
pretty
all that's
intense guy.
needed, man. That's all that's needed. I mean, a lot of people, they talk a lot, but in my opinion, less is more.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. That's certainly one of the tenets of the book that I have coming out here in the next month. that one chapter is called being stoic, and that's just suffer in silence essentially. If you have
Yeah.
some tough shit going on, get through it. You've got I think you have the responsibility, certainly for you being in a relationship like you are. If you need to share that with your woman, that's what you do, and she can probably help you with some of that stuff. But you don't just go there whining. You go in going, hey, this is the thing that I'm dealing with. I want to make sure you're on the inside of it. I'll keep you posted. I don't know how you guys do that, but yeah, that's a toughie. So you kind of shifted gears and started pushing yourself in the right direction. And I don't know if it's like it is for you, but to me, it's cathartic. It's a nice responsibility to have, to know that I have to put this information out, and like, I don't have a whole ton of followers or anything, but it gives me a purpose. It seems like maybe it was that for you, like because man, how much stuff are you putting out? You're putting out more than one video a day, aren't you?
Typically, sometimes I might skip a day. I try to do at least 5 days a week, try to put out a video here and there. Sometimes twice a day. I'll probably, I only did one on TikTok today. I missed the past couple of days. Man, I was out. I was sick. I was laid up. I had this, I don't know, intestinal demon virus or whatever.
Yeah, I saw your post about it.
It's like life threw me a rest day or two. But
yeah, you gotta listen.
But yeah, I try to stay consistent on social media, and I find that with my consistency, that things are starting to grow. It's slowly, it's organic, but I'm patient. I'm willing to be patient with it.
Yeah, that's the key, dude. Discipline is what gets you to where you want to be. I mean, at some point, yeah, you'll probably connect with somebody that already has that big following, and you'll get a big boost out of that. But I'm in that same boat. Like, I would rather connect with guys like you and just build my show that way around people who are grinding and making it work. And then the people who are following you for the right reasons. They're not following you because everybody else does. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So you getting arrested, dude. I don't know if you Googled me, but I have been arrested as well. 10 years ago, I was a high school teacher. I was a high school English teacher. And I did that for over a decade. That's what I went to college for. And I had just left my wife. I was married for a few years. She was a lawyer. It was not a good situation. We don't need to go through the details, but a couple of weeks later, here I'm living in this apartment, and I got arrested for pot possession, which at the time in Indiana, that's where it was. It was a Schedule I drug at that time, so it was like heroin or cocaine. Like, I got the same.
It was a Schedule I. Schedule
I. Yep, Schedule I. I think it still is in Indiana. It's still illegal. Yep, I live in Michigan now, and it's totally legal. But and I'm not a big pot guy. It's weirdest thing. Like, that came from when I was married to her. I had no idea, but she had become an alcoholic. And she had gone through the house and dumped out all the alcohol that we had. And our relationship had deteriorated so badly we didn't even talk about it. I thought she was just being mean to me. And really, she was going through this thing. I had no idea. Anyway, so my buddy's like, dude, you could smoke some pot like every once in a while, like on a Friday night, it's kind of like the same thing. And I'm like, all right, I'll try that. So I had it. And so then I move out. And anyway, the landlord said he smelled smoke. And long story short, two of the guys who came and arrested me, they sent 4 cops for pot possession in my house. There just wasn't much to do that night, I guess. 2 of the guys were guys that I had been working out with and training with. And anyway, that shit hits the newspaper when you're a teacher, and you're going to lose your job. And that's exactly what happened. You can Google my mugshot. I'll probably put it up here as a graphic when I release the podcast. But for me, that was a big shift for me. I leave this bad relationship. Had a lot of healing to do from that, and then all of a sudden this pot thing happens. I lose my career at the same time, and a lot of that shit, and that's why I wrote the first book. And eventually, that's what drove me, kind of got me going down the path that I'm on now. And I'll tell you, the book that really made the difference for me was 12 Rules for Life. I don't know if you've read that one. It's Jordan Peterson. Have you heard of him?
Oh yeah, I know exactly who Jordan is, but haven't read the book. But I heard it's phenomenal. Yeah,
man, it's life changing. If it's not. It's different than Can't Hurt Me. Can't Hurt Me's got that hard driving edge like you have. This one's more insightful, and it's just a little different. But that was the one that did it for me, man. When I was, I ended up buying a house, and I was remodeling, and I was listening to that while I was doing it. And it's crazy how, like you said, when the student's ready to teach your peers, and that was Jordan Peterson for me. So are you following Goggins? Like, are you? Obviously you're running. Are you still doing those long ass runs?
So I stopped doing the running for for a couple of reasons. Well, mainly for one reason, because when I was probably at my leanest, I was about 161 pounds. Now I'm 5'11". So
Yeah, that's
I
pretty damn
was,
thin, dude. If you had
I
any
was
muscle on
diced.
you at all, like you're pretty muscled up right now, 161, you'd be dead.
Yeah, so I wanted to pack on some weight. I wanted to put on some
Yeah,
size. So I started doing that, and I slowed down on the running. And any cardio that I do now is I'll walk on an incline on a treadmill. So if you see a video
I
of me,
see it.
it's
You're always walking
looks
on a
like
treadmill. Yeah,
I'm on a
yeah,
treadmill. I'm walking still, but I'm more into trying to pack on some size. I want to get big. I'm about 180 now, so I put on a good 19, 20 pounds, probably in about a 8-month time frame. And I like the aesthetic a lot better,
sure.
being a little heavier, a little bigger. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
the
slowed down.
yeah, I still I do a lot of cardio. I have different genetics than you. Like I got to worry about fat content, like I get, especially in the winter, I'll put on 10, 15 that I don't need. I'll get a lot stronger
Yeah.
during that time, but then in springtime I got to cut it out. But another, speaking of workouts, dude, you have like, I think I heard you say that you can do, or you got at your best, you got to 1,600 push-ups in an hour. That's a very David Goggins thing to do. Did I get those numbers right?
Yeah, I think it was about, it may have been a little over 1,600. I have to go back and look at the video because I'm not the type of person, like if I hit a number, I have to jot it down and I have to reference back to it because I can't remember it in my
Yeah,
head.
I
But I
got a
know it's somewhere
whiteboard.
around mark. Yeah.
I'll check my
Um,
shit there.
but yeah, I chunk it out. I do every minute on the minute to get those. I
Okay.
did them with pull-ups. I did them with push-ups. I've done them with squats. That's brutal. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
bet.
every minute on the minute, because it seems if you tell somebody, hey, I want to see you do 1,600 push-ups in an hour, they're gonna look at you like you're freaking crazy. But if you say, okay, well, chunk it out to 30 push-ups or
Sets.
32 push-ups every minute on the minute,
Yeah. Yeah, and
you know?
that's some pretty intense shit though. Like I tried it. I'm like, all right, let's see how many I can get done. And I'm not, I'm 230, and I'm pretty
Hmm.
strong, dude. I'm a 300-pound bench guy and I can still deadlift over 400 and stuff like that. But man, I'm like, oh, let me try this push-up thing. After I saw what you did, I got like 800. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I did it wrong. Like I went and I could rip off 50 right away, no problem. And then by the time I get to the next minute, I'm at 20. Like I did too
Yeah.
much too early. And just like anything else, I think with pull-ups for sure, you just got to do them. Like no amount of
Yeah.
strength on anything else is going to be, it's the same as doing a pull-up. And I think push-ups are that same way. So, but that, I got to tell you, that definitely challenged me, man. I'm going to see what I can do. At least get to 1,000 just to say I can. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah,
want
man.
to get some.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man, where if you want to challenge yourself and the feeling that you get after that, even if you don't hit the number, just
Mm-hmm.
in the moment, just doing it and lasting that
Yeah.
hour, you just it's a whole different feeling. It's a different feeling than going out there for a light jog or anything like that. When you challenge yourself to the core,
Oh, yeah.
then that's totally different.
Yeah, dude, I felt that same way when everything was shut down. I've got a close friend who has a CrossFit gym, and he was still open. And he's like, "Dude, come over and work out with us." And I'm like, "All right, cool. I'm good shape and all that." And I go over there,
Yeah.
and man, CrossFit's its own animal. I don't know if you've tried that, but holy shit.
I've done a little bit. It's not my cup of tea, but
Yeah,
there's
mine
there's some
either.
fun exercises with it though.
Yeah, I learned some stuff that I continue to do. I mean, I work on cleans now, and I'll do one workout a week that's kind of CrossFit inspired. And really, what I'm trying to do is hit that fuel system. Like I'm doing long runs, and I have a 10-mile run I do every August. It's a thing here in
Mhm.
Michigan, and then of course I lift, but I don't do anything in between. I don't do the extended strength, which I think is what CrossFit is. So I set up a
Yeah.
workout once a week where I'm doing that. And man, like you said, to challenge yourself in that way. Holy moly! Like I'll cough for the rest of the day after I do that CrossFit workout because it's like it really gets after you. It really gets after you.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah. So how'd you meet your wife if you don't mind me asking? I ask because I'm a single guy and I'm always looking for ideas.
Well, I'm not married now. I was married. I'm divorced.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Well, I'm in a long-term relationship with an amazing woman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we met at a coffee shop after meeting online. So
Okay.
anybody asks, I'm like, we met at a coffee shop. But yeah, we actually
Yeah.
we met online, and it was I was going through a period of time where I was kind of just spinning plates, so to speak, and just getting out there and
I
dating.
read Rational Male too. I know what that is.
Yeah, so that's a great book.
Yeah, it is.
I was just out there, meeting women, having a good time, and me and Kat, we met, and we initially had coffee, first time meeting, and things. She was prepping for like a bodybuilding competition, and things it wasn't the right timing for the two of us. And then ran across her profile again later on down the road, because it kind of the way that we ended our like conversation when we initially met. We were texting and all that. We were going to get together, but it was kind of like right now is not the right time. And I never texted her back. She never texted me back. And I'm a stubborn guy, so and I'm pretty firm on. You can call me or you can text me if you're interested. If there's a desire on your end, you can text me. But I ran across
Takes two to tango, man. I'm in the same boat. Yeah, you got to show me some interest, or I got to go on. I got to move on.
Yeah, and then when I ran across her profile again, I was like, let me see what she's up to. Let me see how she's doing. So I did that, and she responded, and we decided to get together again. And from there, it was just we've been pretty much inseparable since, so to speak.
That's good, man.
We have a great time together. Still, I know you had mentioned to me, I think it was a comment that you made on one of my videos, but it's hard to stay, you kind of find yourself falling out of your purpose when you're with a woman that you're really interested in. And that's one of the things that, because meditating every single day, and you kind of find yourself, well, man, I really want to spend time with this girl. And, but I got this stuff that I got to do too. So
I'm glad you started talking about that, because that's exactly what I was going to ask you is where were you in your path, and has that adjusted, now that you're with somebody that you feel real strongly about?
So I still go through the morning routine like I do. I'm not as regimented as I was when I was single, living just by myself. I still live by myself, but we spend a lot of time back and forth at each other's place. Waking up in the morning, we like to have coffee together in the morning and things like that. So, that kind of, and that's enjoyable for me. That's enjoyable for her. So I don't want to take that away from either of us, just having that time together. But, making the bed is still a thing every single morning. Non-negotiable. Reading, meditating. Sometimes things fall out of order, go to the gym first, but it was initially by myself on a consistent every single day, non-negotiable basis. Make the bed, 32 ounces of water, make coffee, write in my gratitude journal, 5 things, read for 30 minutes, meditate for 30 minutes, hit the gym, back home, making food, making a video while I'm taking a break in between all of that stuff. So very, very regimented. And, there's going to be times where you can fall out of that regiment, but you got to be consciously aware of it and get your ass back in there.
Yeah, I think that's where Jocko comes out when he says discipline is freedom. At least that's one application of it. The more disciplined you are in your life, the more able you are to jump out of it if you need to, or if you want to. The more established those habits are, the easier, the less impact it's going to have if you do jump out for a minute. And again, the more established those habits are, the easier it's going to be to go back into your grind. And, I come out in that same spot. I don't have anybody here living with me, but I do the same stuff you're talking about. My morning is almost exactly how you described. I do it in a little bit different order, but you have to, if you're like, this is what I'm reading on. I'm reading this article. It's a scholarly article called the paradox of declining female happiness. And it's these people, talking about the feminist movement through the 60s and 70s, and then, what happened in the 80s and 90s as a result of that, and what's happening today. And, the research just inspires stuff in my head and gets me, I'm highlighting stuff and I'm taking notes, and I'm like, this would make a good podcast, or this would make a good post, or so I'm doing the same stuff you're doing. What is next for you? One of the first things I asked you was, I think I caught you on TikTok, and then I was like, hey man, are you anyplace else? And you said, yeah, you said that you were on Instagram. So I grabbed you there. And I think I asked you about podcasts or books or anything like that. What do you want to do, man? You're inspiring people as you are, but what's stopping you from going broader? Is that something you're thinking about doing?
So I'm just added a link to my Instagram and my TikTok, looking to get into the coaching aspect of things. I inevitably I want to write a book. I want to do public speaking on a big stage, that kind of
Me too.
scaled stuff.
Yeah.
Podcast, absolutely. I want to have a podcast. My girl and I, we actually we started discussing ideas for a podcast for the two of us because we like to bounce ideas off of each other, and I think
As you should.
between her and between I and the conversations that we have, I think it would be very beneficial to a lot of people, but not just the podcast between me and her, but my own personal podcast as well. So I've got a lot of things that are in the works, things that are kind of compounding, and I think it's going to be a pretty interesting and eventful year 2022.
Yeah, good, man. I'm excited for you. And I'll tell you, when you're ready to kind of take that jump, one of the guys I talked to today, his name's Shane Fichter. He's a motivational speaker. He's in Montana, but he's got a business that's already moving ahead. He's a former MMA fighter, and he's got everything you're talking about. He's into it. So he's a couple years ahead of you. And when you think you're ready for that, if you think if you would like outside resources, I'd be happy to connect the two of you. I think you guys would get along. And anyway, he can point you in the right direction, which is handy, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah.
Have you reached out to anyone else? I mean, do you find yourself looking to have conversations with other like-minded dudes?
I do. I haven't reached out to anybody just yet. That's, I'm the type of person that's kind of leery on who I reach out to. I mean, obviously I like to, do my research and things like that, but that's definitely steps that are going to be taken this year, reaching out to people and, especially getting the podcast up and running and whatnot.
Yeah, dude, you'll have fun, man. For me, it's some days because I run like you said, you're a cop. I run a construction recruiting business. And again, it's still, I'm at home by myself doing that, sitting here at the same desk. And sometimes like sitting here and having a conversation with you or with somebody else might be the only human contact I have for the day. Now I go to the gym, but you're probably like me, man. I don't talk to anybody when I'm at the gym. It's all business. Like I'm checking in with my headphones and I'm grinding. And if you catch me when I'm putting my sweatshirt on or something, cool, we'll talk, but not out there on the floor.
Yeah, no, I got caught up in a conversation at the gym. That's why I usually don't take my headphones off when I'm at the gym.
I don't either.
I'll get caught up in a conversation with somebody, and it'll majority of the time be a conversation I don't even want to be in. I work out at the law enforcement gym, and there's nothing but cops in there. And cops, they want to talk about cop stuff, and even when they're not in uniform, they talk about work. And I try to stay away from that as much as possible. If I'm not in my uniform, I ain't thinking about work. I'm not talking about work. And a lot of people might think I'm standoffish because I don't try to talk to them when I'm at the gym. I stick to what I'm doing. I got my head down, and it's game time when I'm in there. But yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be an asshole. It's just I might come across as one.
Oh man, dude, I've run in that same boat. I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't mean to either. I don't want to be on. I don't want to be mentally on. I want to be grinding. How'd you get into being a cop, dude? You said you did a bunch of stuff. How did you? That seems like a big jump.
So this was when I was married still at the time. I was trying to figure out. I was like, man, I was 31, 32. I think I was 32. Yeah, 32. And I was trying to figure out what am I going to do with my life? I was working for a company doing sales, handling collision centers in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. And I was like, this isn't what I want to do. Sales was great. I enjoyed meeting people, stuff like that. But it didn't have that spark for me. So I started looking at military, special forces type stuff because I like challenging stuff.
That's good shit.
I like excitement. I like danger, things like that. So I was looking at the Navy. I was looking at special forces, Navy SEALs, stuff like that. And I realized I was too old for that. So I was like, what's the next best thing I can do? And I was like, I can be a cop. And when I was a kid, I always thought, being a police officer would be awesome. And I decided, hey, let me put in an application, see what happens. Put in an application and got the board test and all that stuff, interview and polygraph, and made it through. So
yeah, that's it's a cool job. And if I had to ever go back to having like a job, I think that's what I would do. I mean, I don't really have any interest in teaching anymore. I still coach football, but man, I love the police stuff that I did because it it had that brotherhood and that camaraderie. And like you said, there was potential for danger and excitement. And like,
Yeah.
I don't find that as a construction recruiter. I talk to people on the phone. That's what I do, dude. I do like internet background checks and call references. Yeah, it's nothing like I mean, Grant, I'm older now. I'm a few years older than you are, and I don't need that excitement quite as much, but I still think about it, man. When I dream, sometimes I dream that I'm in one of those situations, pulling over a DUI or code 10 or something. And you guys still use 10 codes down there?
Some 10 codes and not all. We kind of got away from the 10 codes. So now it's just like plain talk, plain speak. I mean, we still use the, what do you call it? Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, all that.
Yeah, the spelling stuff when you're calling in plates and stuff like that.
Phonetic alphabet.
Do you what are you driving, man? Do you have a Charger? What are you in?
Typically it's either a Caprice or it's a Charger. So they're trying to get away from all the Chargers and Caprices, and they're going towards Ford Explorers, which that's not my cup of tea. I don't like those.
Why do you not like them? I know that it's basically a car chassis. It's not a body on frame anymore. It's just not like a Crown Vic. Did you have Crown Vics at the beginning?
We did. When I first came on, I drove this Crown Vic that we don't have take-home cars, so we just grab the car that's available at the precinct, and usually the brand new guy gets the crappiest car. It's really not like that anymore. I mean, a lot of stuff has changed. I mean, honestly speaking, everybody nowadays has this entitled attitude. Even the new recruits coming on board, with the department, it's getting out of whack. But that's a different conversation.
Yeah, I know it is, dude. I talk about that a lot. I talk about entitlement and what that's come to. The angle that I've taken lately. Actually, I just put a video up yesterday about talking about the difference between rights and responsibilities. Right? In my mind, rights are things that are maybe given to you, and responsibilities are things that you take on yourself. Responsibilities, they get you up in the morning. Rights don't, but people spend all their time complaining about their rights. And in my mind, that's absolutely an entitlement thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And
are you seeing
definitely got the school mentality.
Are you seeing a respect drop, dude? Because I left in 2012. So, I didn't have all the riots and all that stuff to deal with and all the bullshit that's happened to the blue stripe since then. I mean, have you noticed the decline in the way people interact with you just in general because of the shit they see on CNN?
No, it's really surprising. We get a lot of support from the public.
I'm glad to hear that, dude.
I walk into a store, and majority of the time, it's very positive. I haven't had really that many negative interactions unless I'm dealing with, some suspect who obviously maybe a career criminal or just somebody who doesn't like cops. And obviously you have those people out there. Yeah. But for the most part, my interactions with people are pretty positive.
I'm glad to hear that, dude. Yeah, it's a job that, like when I was a teacher, I always thought that you guys had it way worse than we did. Yeah, you're risking more, you're having to do more, and people aren't looking at you the same way. Just it's fucking shitty.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of BS. The calls that we got to go on, where basically we got to solve other people's problems. That in my opinion, if that was me in that position, I'd be solving my own problems. But, some people they just love calling the police.
Yeah, I think it's an extension of telling on somebody, or I'm going to call mom and dad. I think that's what what it devolves to. Like I've never been in the habit of fixing my own shit, so I'll still just find whoever will fix it for me. How about something a little more positive, man? What I got to imagine that people are saying to you, like I did, "Hey, man, you really inspire me. Thanks." How much of that are you getting? I mean, on your social media stuff,
I get quite a bit. I get a lot of comments on videos. I've had people inbox me messages. A lot of I've seen a big uptick in followers on Instagram just from TikTok alone. And I get people who saw my TikTok video go to my Instagram. They'll send me a message, hey, you really inspire me. Your videos really help me out. Keep up the good work, all that kind of stuff. And that stuff, that's what it's all about. That means the world to me when I see stuff like that, because I know that I may have said something that impacted this person's life in a positive way, and the biggest thing that I got to take a step back sometimes and think to myself, well, don't let your ego, take over. Don't let your ego get in the way. And
man, you're just human, dude. I get the same thing.
yeah,
When somebody reaches out and has something good to say, I'm like, you can't help it. You feel good, you do, and you can't help this either when you need something. You take a shot, because some of the stuff that I say, you'll see when you get into longer format stuff, you're more likely to say something it's going to upset somebody. It's going to be divisive or whatever it is. And when I have people, usually they misunderstand me. Like I meant X and they thought I meant Y, and they come at you and they throw bad names at you and stuff like that. And I can't help it, man. That stuff still stings, And I got to get to where you do. Like what's the knock that people are going to give you, dude? Because your stuff is also positive. And I got to tell you, it seems like you have it all practiced. Like you say the stuff and it's like you're reading off a teleprompter. You nail it.
Yeah, so I get negative stuff from people. A lot of times it's men, and I get a lot of positive stuff from guys. But you got some guys out there that they just either want to troll you or they just want to say something negative to you, and that kind of stuff. I usually don't even respond to it. You get some people that you'll see in comment sections of videos or posts, and you'll see this whole thread of comments going back and forth, and I don't got time for that. You know what, if you're a hater, haters are just fans, in my opinion.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, man. I did a whole show on haters and why you should be excited you have them, because those are the people those are probably the men that disagree with you. What they're like is, for whatever reason, I don't know, man. I've got some in my own personal friend circle who I know are like, they're afraid to do what I'm doing. They're afraid to try to do the stuff I'm doing. And them coming after you is really just showing you something about them. It's them exposing the fact that they're afraid to do what you're doing. So they're trying to take you down a notch, which it doesn't make any sense, but it is what it is.
No, I mean, is your life that boring, that lack of entertainment in your life that you need to, if you don't like the video, I don't care. Sometimes I'll get really good comments on there, and when I mean good, like really negative, and I'll just reply with thanks for the advice or thanks for your professional opinion. I don't get into a long drawn out argument or anything like that, but yeah, it's kind of fun seeing the haters, because I never really had those on Instagram, and then I go over and start making some TikTok videos and get a little bit of a following on there, and now here come the haters. So I'm like, yeah.
That's been my experience too, dude. That TikTok is a place where you can stack up the followers a lot more quickly than you can on Instagram. But that's also where you're going to get the play between the fans and the haters. Like I don't know, man. It seems like, and maybe this is probably the case, that it seems like the people on TikTok are a lot younger. Like I see a lot of the people, when I get a nasty gram, when somebody really rips my shit, it's almost always just a picture. They've got no posts. They've got like 10 followers and they're following like 1,000 people. So they just made this account to just go on there and consume and troll. You know what I mean? So if you don't have you're putting your stuff out there, if you're not, I'm not going to talk to you. Like, I'm not going to say a damn thing. You're a ghost as far as I'm concerned. Like your opinion means nothing. But like, I commented, do you know who Ryan Mickler is? He does the Order of Mayhem podcast and wrote a book called Sovereignty.
Watched him go live this morning.
Yeah, he had live this morning. Yep. He's sort of a friend of a friend. Anyway, I commented on something that he did, and he's a hard dude, man. He'll come back at me like, that's not what I meant. What do you talk? Like he's a hard guy to get to. I don't know, man. Like Jack Donovan, you might have heard of him too. That guy, thankfully, I have his cell phone number, and like I'll ask him questions and he'll write me back, or we've talked on the phone before, and he's been great because he's like 5 years ahead of me, dude. He's got all these books out already. He's way ahead of me, so he's just been a great mentor, and I never have any issues with him. He's always very supportive. But Ryan, I don't know, like I think he gets fucked with more. Ryan does, because he's got such a big following. So many people look at his shit, so it's tough to kind of crack him. I don't know. Everybody's doing it a different way, I suppose. If you had to I know you're getting to your hard stop here, but if you had to sum up your message in just a brief statement, your thesis statement, the thing that would be the banner above your logo when you do your podcast banner like mine, what would it say?
I mean, short and sweet, pursue greatness.
Pursue
Never
greatness.
stop. Never stop focusing on becoming the best possible version of yourself, because if you do that, everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, that's true, man. Well, Chris, man, I sure appreciate you taking the time. My apologies in advance for the mix-up on time. It has been awesome meeting you. It's been awesome getting a chance to talk to you and figure out who you are. What I'm going to do as a follow-up is I'm going to send you some contact information via our connection on Instagram, and then if you would, please follow up on that. And what I'll do is I'll send you some stickers, and if you let me know your T-shirt size and your girl's size, I'll send you some T-shirts, send you a copy of the book, stuff like that, and then we'll go from there. And man, stay in touch. When your stuff is good, dude. You're the kind of voice that needs to be out there, and you need a broader reach. You need to be getting in touch with as many people as you possibly can. We got a job to do, man, and that's help people be better. And there aren't a lot of people who want to. So anytime you need me, you reach out, and I'll be there to help you. Okay?
Yeah, Travis, I appreciate you, man, and it was an honor to be on your show.
Oh, you bet, buddy. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, buddy.